All right. Is that box on, Chuck? Should be on. If the button's in, yeah, it's on. Okay. Testing, testing. Attention, please. Here we are at Canal Side. We're with County Executive Mark Poloncarz, Legislature Chairwoman April Baskin, and Public Art Curator for the Albright Knox Gundlach Art Museum, Aaron Ott. We'll have remarks from all of them shortly. Then we'll sign the law. Then Dan Somerville takes us out for drinks at Liberty Hound. Any questions? Good deals. Good, good, good. Not only
everybody
from
had to see it.
Okay. It's just you three speaking. All right. So after remarks are done, Mark will sit next to Shark Girl, sign the new local law. Woo. Okay. All right.
All right. Good afternoon. Wait for a second. Corey there. Everyone all set? Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Canal Side, as we are here to sign into law the new public art law for Erie County. I'm pleased to be joined by our Chairwoman of the Erie County Legislature, April Baskin, Erie County Legislator Howard Johnson. Howard, I have the suit on today, but no tie. We did a presser just recently, and I didn't have a suit on, and he had a suit on, and he was like, "Oh man, I wish I had known you weren't wearing a suit." Well, I do have a suit on today. And we're also joined by the Public Art Curator for the Albright Knox Gundlach Art Museum, the AKG, Aaron Ott, to sign, as I said, into law the Public Art Initiative Law, which is going to ensure that on all major projects that Erie County invests in through its buildings and grounds, that there also is money set aside for public art. We are here at where in some ways it all started. Well, really it started just about a block and a half away, right on the water of the Buffalo River, with the installation of Shark Girl as part of the public art initiative between Erie County as well as the Albright Knox. We didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into at that point. By installing this first piece of whimsical public art that makes you think a little bit. It's Alice in Wonderland meets Jaws, and it is something that has become an incredible asset of the community. People want to get their photos taken with Shark Girl, but if you think about what had happened beforehand, public art, to the extent that it exists today, really didn't exist in our community. There were a few areas in which public art was present. Most of it had been installed years before, but working with Director Yanni Seren and others at the AKG, I wanted to ensure that our community was investing in public art. So we created the Public Art Initiative, which resulted in bringing to Buffalo Aaron Ott as the Public Art Initiative Curator for the AKG. And since then, we've seen this explosion of public art across our whole community. Sculptures, murals, you name it, it's out there. And it all started in many ways with Shark Girl, because while it was an interesting piece, it also in some ways was controversial, because there were some people who criticized the government spending of money on it, but we didn't do that. The government did not buy this sculpture, the Albright Knox did, and it became a part of the public art ownership of this community through the AKG in Erie County, and then eventually the City of Buffalo's partnership for the Public Art Initiative. We've seen art continue to expand in our community. It's something I'm very proud of that came out of the Public Art Initiative, and we're going to grow with that. We're going to ensure that it continues to grow with this public art law that ensures that, as I said, with all major building contracts for Erie County, a small portion of the dollars associated with those contracts go to ensure the installation of more public art in our community. I want to thank our Chairwoman, April Baskin. This was her law. It had the support of all the legislators, but she was the one who brought it forth who is the main sponsor of this. I thank her for continuing to invest in public art. I appreciate her sponsorship of the law. And with that, I'll turn it over to the chairwoman to say a few words. So, Chairwoman April Baskin.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, County Executive. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be here at the signing of the Erie County Public Art Law. The County Executive is correct. His administration, in conjunction with AKG, has laid exceptional groundwork for public art to be prioritized and appreciated across Erie County. And I'm so proud to be chairing the legislature and to be working with the majority caucus members on advancing their efforts so that more artists can have access to opportunities to create that art. I think there are a couple of things that are really, really special about this law. As the county executive pointed to, every public works project that the county invests in, we're going to make sure that a portion of the money goes into a fund that is set aside specifically for public art to be created across the entire county. And that's really important. We invest a lot of money into keeping Erie County thriving and to keeping our roads strong and to keeping infrastructure strong, and to know that we're going to take a portion of that and make sure that our beautification efforts in the county are just as strong is something to be commended. But what I'm really proud of in this law is the fact that it calls for a committee of residents who have experienced themselves as working artists or as teaching artists to convene and have an opportunity to serve on the Arts and Public Places Committee. It is that committee that is going to be charged with deciding where the public art goes, deciding how to roll out an RFP to engage a local artist as a small business owner, which artists are, they are small business owners within their own right, to be contracted by the county to make a living wage and to participate as a community in creating this public art. That's what makes this law special. It's not just about a couple of folks getting into a room to make decisions about how we revitalize and beautify Erie County, but it creates a space for residents and experts in the arts community to come together and make those decisions with our public dollars. So for that much, I'm so grateful to all of my colleagues in the legislature, all 10 of them. This law passed unanimously just a few weeks ago. I'm so grateful for the AKG for leading the way and it being the inspiration for public art across Erie County, and again to the county executive for his leadership in laying this groundwork and supporting the county legislature as we advance it and take it to the next level. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, County Executive.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A key member of the legislature is Legislator Howard Johnson, who is the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. So he ensures that there's money for these projects, and he does a great job with it. Legislator Johnson would like to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, County Executive. Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Mr. Knott. Hey, I like that hat. I've been eyeing it. I got to get that hat. But yes, you know, I want to thank the chairwoman because when I first came onto the legislature, I have a business background. I have an understanding about art. And I often tell her most of the things she do and talk about, she comes from the art side of the brain. And I always have a better thought out plan with that. So I thank you for that. But because of that, I had the opportunity to commission a piece of art in our district a few years ago. And what was that? It was with understanding that she gave me, the understanding and importance of public art and how it benefits the community as a whole. As you can look through all of Erie County now, public art is taking it by storm. You look through many of the buildings and throughout the city of Buffalo, you see public art all over the building. So this is just a testament to the things that, you know, that's happening in our city, the renaissance that's happening, and the emphasis of public art. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Johnson. As I noted, the AKG is basically the main organization that's helping ensure all these public art projects go across our community through the Public Art Initiative. And the man behind that who helps choose these projects, decide on the artists for the AKG Public Art Initiative is Aaron Ott. I want to ask him to say a few words, talk about public art in our community and what this local law will help do to grow public art.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. I couldn't have imagined in 2014 that I'd be standing here today with the county executive, our foundational sponsor at the Albright Knox, the now Buffalo AKG Art Museum. We created, with their support, with Mark's support, and the unanimous support of the legislature back then, an initiative that was ambitious and new to the region, and it was embraced by the community. It was embraced to such a degree that, in fact, we now can see much more to be done. What the chairwoman has done, what Legislator Johnson has done, what the legislature as a whole, unanimously, as they said, what the leadership of Mark have done is help expand our ability to meet that ambition in our community. We are very proud at the Buffalo AKG to be thought leaders and catalysts in the realm of public art. But as Chairwoman Baskin noted, we have an opportunity in this region to hire more artists, to create more opportunities, to embrace the culture that we know we have. We have a limited ability to do what we do at the Buffalo AKG, and we will continue to do it with the great support of the legislature. But what we see today in this new law expands the ability for all of our community artists and all of our residents to celebrate public art throughout the region. And I really want to say a sincere thank you to the work that you've done to ensure that for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. With that, we'll move the podium. I will sit next to Shark Girl. And I have to admit, when we installed Shark Girl that many years ago, I didn't think we'd be doing a public art signing ceremony next to her, but it is the perfect location. She was the beginning of the public art renaissance in Erie County, and it's going to continue on her watch. So let's get this going. I'll ask questions afterwards, yeah. Come on in. Perfect. That's good. Better now. Thank you. All right. Yes. All right. Ready? Here?
Yep. Yeah, it was right on top of this one.
That good?
Yep.
Okay.
Shark Girl's a little shy. She won't be taking any questions. You had a question there? Well, I'd actually turn that over to Aaron because that's his daily gig, and he knows exactly what the next installations are. This will go into effect with future building projects, so this is going to take some time. But Aaron, you want to talk about what to expect in upcoming installations for the Public Art Initiative of the AKG?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for the question. Upcoming projects, we have a number starting now in the region that you'll see. some in the city and some in the county. We just welcomed an artist out of Columbus, Ohio to Springville. Mandy Caskey is starting a residency. It'll be our second installation down in Springville. So we as you know, we started with our foundational sponsorship through the county. We definitely want to reach deep into the county as this law will help further. We're going to be working on a city building here shortly. You'll see that will actually be our tallest mural ever produced later this year. And we have a number of other kind of sculptural and mural installations that'll be coming throughout August and September. We delayed a little bit our public art installations, as you know, to focus our activities at the Buffalo AKG campus. That's where our focus remains right now, but you will definitely see some more public art activities with our initiative in the near future, and this law is going to guarantee that there's lots more opportunities to come in the long term.
Well, when it comes to the county building projects, these will be solely regarding Erie County's buildings. The Public Art Initiative partners often with these business owners, building owners, developers, who, depending on the project, especially if they're asking for it, are required to actually provide financial contribution. The AKG does not pay for all of the cost if it's going onto a particular building, especially at the request of the building owner. So there's many partners that can be involved. What we generally, some building owners do it on their own. They will commission a mural, they'll commission a piece of art directly with the artist, and then the AKG has no involvement, but for those that are part of the Public Art Initiative, it's usually a partnership between the building owner, the AKG, and others.
With the new football field, was that acres criteria, or is that just a New York State project?
Actually, because the law went into effect after the football stadium, it doesn't have to, but we know that public art is going to be part of the project. But this, because it was signed into effect and went into law after the project was all agreed to and the dollars and cents were all apportioned, it really doesn't apply to it, but we do know there will be public art associated with that project. Any other questions? All right, enjoy this beautiful day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Sharko. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, that's it.